Okay, people, I'm gonna leave this light on. If it goes off, it goes off. Early in the morning, December 22nd, 2019, and I'm sitting here writing crap down. That's going to be the title of my video. What kind of society, right? In other words, what kind of society do we live in where a government employee and a group of government employees can destroy lives, simply put? Okay? How is it that government employees, doesn't matter from what sector they come from, can go about destroying lives and never be held to account to the public? Okay? Now, from time to time, you hear of court cases where, individuals within the government who've been fired by the government will take the government to court because they feel that they've been wrongfully fired or whatever. Back before the BC Liberal government came into power, right? Glenn Clark was the premier at the time, and he was a New Democrat. And a lot of people liked him, and he was doing a pretty good job. And he had a sense of compassion about him when it came to British Columbia, Canada's social safety nets, right? But the political strong arms, I guess you can say, the property developer, more than one, right? They wanted a building boom. They wanted to exploit the resources in British Columbia, Canada, and they needed to get this guy out of the way, right? So that they could, tweak the legislation and, start chopping down all these trees and sending them to China and, and this and that and, cut people off of welfare because, in those days in America, it was welfare reform coming in under Clinton, right? So, or was it, who was it? Yeah, it was Clinton, but it started before Clinton, right? So anyway, and he was set up. This is the premier of the province back in 1999. He was set up because an election was coming, right? And the political strong arms, they didn't want the NDP to stay in power because they had plans for the province to exploit it, right? Of its natural resources. And so anyway, he was accused of cutting backroom deals in somewhere, I don't know, building porches or something, right? It had something to do with a porch. and I don't know. So anyway, of course he had to step down, people, because it was scandal within the government. It was the premier of the province. So in the end, he didn't win. He stepped down because he was in court as they were going into the elections. I'm pretty sure that's how it was working out. And, of course, Gordon Campbell came in with his 5 great golden promises. Oh, my God. It was a promise to rip this province apart so that progress could sustain the poorest of the poor, quote unquote, right? They needed to start ripping the province apart just to be able to support people like my family because we were on social assistance, right? And of course, we know the story from there. I was illegally cut off of social assistance in the middle of January 2003, 9 months before the legislation came in, and I didn't even fit the criteria of that legislation. But of course, when it's happening to you, you don't know. You don't have time to go fight people in the ministry office that have an attitude and want to argue with you and tell you that this and tell you that that and just simply send you away. Well, what kind of province, what kind of society sets people up to literally fail and do it in a criminal way, people, right? And then to never be held accountable for what they did. I'm leading up to something here. Okay, because that's just one example, right? In terms of being illegally cut off of social assistance with 5 dependent children. Not to mention I was looking after Uncle John. So, and I had my own health issues. Remember, I was injured in 1998 with the birth of my daughter. That permanently altered my uterus, right? But of course, I didn't know that because I was too busy raising a family and sucking it up, right? In terms of any pain-related issues I had after the fact of giving birth to Tisha. You know. So, fast forward, then we've got Uncle John, and of course we've got Andre in there, and then there's still Amari. And then, but you know, to what happened to Uncle John, we'll just stop at Uncle John for a minute. And just all the terrible, terrible, terrible things that happened to him, people. All through criminal activity that was facilitated through government employees, or I wouldn't say that the banking institution is a government employee, but they are bound to the government. They lobby the government, right? And in many ways, they have more power than the government, right? So they're equal to a government. You can't have a bank without a government. You can't have a government without a bank. That's democracy. Is it democracy? So anyway, you know, through all my yakety yak, when have you ever heard me say that the corporation, that the government, that the public union sector employees, that the government employees, you know, have ever been held to account and has accepted responsibility for the harm that they cause among the public? Because I am not, and my family is not, the only isolated case where we're being specifically targeted to prop up the government union sector, right? And to facilitate illegal activities, like illegal organ harvesting people. And that, where the ball, after it bounced around, it just plopped, plopped, right? Plop. Right into the lap of Shemaine. And the thing is, the government will still not be held to account, people, because in our society today, if you can't afford to go, I was going to say buy a lawyer, but maybe more like rent a lawyer? If you can't afford to rent a lawyer, you will never get no justice, and the lawyer that you're talking to, asking them to help you, are telling you, no, we can't help you because you're not going to find a lawyer who's going to take on the government. Never mind a health authority. And include the banking system. But we know it's real because I sit and I talk about it while YouTube shadow bans and puts up CIBC Bank's fucking advertisement. As if, isn't it interesting how their YouTube and their affiliates, whoever they are going around scaring the pants off of every YouTuber that is an uploader of some kind, right? A creator or whatever, right? Whatever they're uploading, they're all on eggshells. They're all on pins and needles. They're all walking on glass, wondering when YouTube is going to come with the big fucking axe, chop them off the knees, and get rid of them. Okay? Because they are trying to protect their advertisers. Because they want their advertisers to be able to partner up with creators, right? That say exactly what the advertiser wants. so that the advertiser can go out there and get more clients, more old people to sign on with CIBC Bank. Come on, sign on. Doesn't matter if you've been on for 25 years like Uncle John. As long as we get your John Henry, once we get it, we can do whatever the fuck we want with it because we've already done it, and because of the society that we live in, and we know that the people that we fuck over can't get fucking lawyers, we're gonna do it again. This is the point of this video, people. Okay? Because it's serious shit. There are thousands, tens of thousands of people, probably hundreds of thousands of people across this continent in a situation maybe not as bad as mine, but are equal to mine in terms of their lives are being destroyed because the public union sector and their affiliates, whether it's the banking system, right, are screwing over people's lives, and they're harvesting us like fucking cattle. And you can't go find a lawyer to take it to court to defend your family, to defend yourself, to defend your community. Nothing, jack shit. Unless you're willing to do it for yourself. And we already know the results of that, doing it for yourself. Right? But if you don't try, then you just become a raving lunatic. At least if you fucking take it to court and document it and failed. You've got something to show that it was real. Because with these advertisers putting up their fucking ads, and isn't that interesting? YouTube is an American company. An American company that I think is situated in California. Why the hell are they providing me with a Canadian bank advertisement that I can't fucking stand? Because I know the real truth about that bank. Something that YouTube would never put an ad on. Because I tell the truth, right? They will not put an ad. Even if I get out to 1,000 people and I said, okay, people, we're at 1,000 people now. YouTube has monetized the channel. So any money that collects over a period of time can sit in the fucking pot. And then when we got enough, we can fight over it, decide what we want to do. But I highly recommend opening up a freaking manufacturing company so that, real people can get on with real lives, get on with what they started out to do before the corporation and the government union employee sector decided to come in and fucking destroy everything, right? Even if I could get that far, people, and have that money accumulate for all the right reasons, with integrity, YouTube isn't going to put no ads on it because I talk about CIBC quote-unquote bank, that's a Canadian bank that has nothing to do with America, right? HSBC maybe, but not Canadian Imperial Bank of Commerce. Hell no, that's strictly fucking Canadian. They're gonna put their ads up because they pay big bucks. Well, yeah, Uncle John fucking paid for it. Remember that, people. Anytime you see a CIBC fucking bank fucking ad on YouTube, let me tell you, it was Uncle John who paid for that. And because of that, YouTube will continue to shadow ban and do whatever fucking YouTube does because they're nothing more than a bad landlord. Serious. Yeah, we'll fix something in 2 years from now. After the damage done. Kind of like the BC Liberal government when they came in with all their bullshit. Right? The only thing is the damage isn't done. The damage is fucking there because the government doesn't allow the poor people or even the people that are just simply being exploited by this system, right, that has absolutely no brakes. No lawyers willing to stand up against them. Can you imagine that? No fucking lawyers are willing to stand up against the fucking government. Unless it's a slam dunk and a sure deal that they're going to win. Then they might stick their neck out. Other than that, they don't want to touch it with a 10-foot pole. What does that tell you about our society? Right? Do you know how many sitting ducks are in the province of British Columbia, Canada, whether they know about it or not, are? Some of them know. And they're like me. They feel helpless to do anything. right? You just wait for the next attack. That's all you do. When you get to this point, and it was before this point, Shimei was just the doozy. But when you get to this point, you just wait for the next attack from these types of individuals, people, because they have all the resources and they use public tax dollars to commit crimes. And there is nobody to stand up against them because other corporations promote them and penalize the ones who actually talk about the truth. They fucking penalize people like me, right? That speak out about it, to warn the public, to let other people know they're not alone. You know, we'll get through it. Die trying. Because this is the type of society that we live in. These people can go and they can hurt and injure and harm and murder and fucking pillage and do whatever the hell they want at any time of the fucking day, month, year. And nothing holds them to account. Nothing. Not even the people who are paid to protect us from this. Stop it. Because many of them are involved. That is like science fiction, horror, freaking novel. It shouldn't be real, but it is. I'm going to read what I wrote because when I got up, the first thing that was on my head was this. And even this, I don't even think sounds right. And I can't even see it because my eyes are going on me, and we know that. So it's like a pack of hyenas just picking here and picking there and snapping here and biting there and, you know, ripping there, right? As you know, they're coming in, you know, one at a time, right? And you're in the middle of that shit. And there's nobody to help you out of it. It's because I was looking into this light. Well, I wasn't looking into the light, but it's catching my eye. So it changes the light spectrum. That's another reason why I move these books, so I can open up these curtains and try and get more daylight. Because my eyes are really going on me, so it's an advantage to the government and its employees and their affiliate partners, right? Whether it's fucking YouTube or CIBC Bank, Canadian Imperial Bank of Commerce, right? Can, really figure in a strategy to hone in and get rid of me. As they sell their advertisement on some gushy channel. Lying to the public. Selling it to be only a fantasy. When it's not a fucking horror science fiction. Anyway, I'm going to read this and then I'm going to turn this off because I think seriously, what kind of society do we live in where I can't go get a lawyer anywhere, people? I can't. You know, I'm asking lawyers and they're saying no. Specifically saying you won't find one because you're taking on the government. Yeah, well, yeah, it is the government. Anyone that works in the healthcare system is government. Anyone that's working in the banking system is in connection with the government because if anything, the government should be monitoring the banking system. How do you think they launder money, people? Through banks. And there's more than one thing that they launder money on. All right, fentanyl sales is one. What is another one? Kidnapping old people for their assets is another one. Illegal organ harvesting is another one. Injuring children at birth on purpose for the sole result of to do this, and this because it's a guaranteed fucking paycheck and a pile of organs to harvest at the end, right? What kind of society do we live in where you can't protect yourself from those things? Provincial government, employees, employee union sector, targets vulnerable families and use ministry files and healthcare files to do it as they cater to a immigrant population. Has made it where no lawyer will help you with lawsuits simply because the public union sector has the support and has the support and unlimited access to public dollars to do as they want to avoid being held accountable for the people they injure, harm, or exploit. Can't read that because I wrote over it. See, first in blue, and then in black. And the black overtook the blue, and because my eyes are so bad right now, I can't see shit. Provincial Gov discriminates against Canadian-born people who are below poverty, as they know such people have no means to defend themselves or can afford to pay for a lawyer to represent lawsuits, thereby ensuring the government's ability to target and destroy families for the government's benefit. Enable police to cover up murder, illegal organ harvesting, right? If you can't get a lawyer to stop that shit, then the government enables it to continue to happen. Government allows and encourages criminal activity to occur regularly within the public union sector, who uses personal family files to target vulnerable individuals within family units for personal and corporate profit. So now it's time to put up Canadian Imperial Bank of Commerce advertisement, people. Or now it's time to shut me up. Which one? Which one? Right?